The Naughty Vampire.
In the depths of a spooky castle, on a night when the moon hung high and full, a dark room held an ancient coffin. This wasn't just any ordinary coffin, but the bed of a special creature. It was Dracula, the vampire, who had just awoken at the stroke of midnight. His two sharp fangs gleamed in the dim light, and he adjusted his long, flowing cape with a satisfied smirk. Dracula eagerly brushed his teeth in front of the mirror, grinning with excitement. He was in high spirits for a special reason. Tonight was Halloween, his favorite night of the year. It was the one night he could go to the village and scare the villagers, a tradition he looked forward to every year. After brushing his teeth, Dracula sat down to a meal that only a vampire would enjoy, a glass of blood and a plate of weirdly gelatinous green jelly. He savored each bite, feeling his excitement build. Tonight would be special, he was sure of it. After finishing his meal, Dracula approached the large window in his room. With a sudden poof, he transformed into a bat and took to the night sky. He soared through the dark, dense forest, heading towards the village that lay not far from his castle, eager to begin his mischievous night. Soon he spotted two young men chatting on a bench near the village entrance. With a sly grin, he hid behind a bush and transformed back into his vampire form. With a sudden roar of "Blah!" the two young villagers screamed in terror, and before they knew it, they had fainted. Dracula laughed heartily, enjoying the thrill of his successful scare. But Dracula wasn't done yet. He decided to play another trick. He found a quiet pathway near the entrance of the forest and began digging a large hole. When he was done, he smiled to himself, imagining the frightful expressions on the villagers' faces when they fell in. His plan was perfect. But just as he was about to leave, he heard cries for help echoing through the village. He noticed a group of villagers fleeing the town in a state of panic. Curious, Dracula used his supervision to search for the source of the commotion. He saw a giant rampaging through the village, tearing down houses and causing chaos. "Only I can frighten the humans in this village," Dracula muttered angrily. "I won't let anyone else take my place." He rushed toward the giant, shouting, "Hey, big guy, get out of the village! These villagers are mine to scare, not yours." But the giant ignored Dracula and continued his destruction. Dracula, now more annoyed than ever, transformed into a bat once more and flew up to the giant's face. His eyes glowed red as he used his hypnotic gaze, trying to control the giant's mind. The giant's eyes soon became glazed, his expression blank and confused. Dracula knew he had succeeded, and he quickly came up with a plan. With a devious smile, Dracula commanded, "Go along the path to the forest." The giant, in a trance, followed Dracula's instructions and began walking toward the forest. Just as he reached the edge of the trees, bang! The ground shook as the giant fell into the big hole Dracula had dug earlier. The giant was knocked unconscious. Dracula grinned triumphantly as his plan having worked perfectly. The villagers, who had been hiding in fear, now came out, but instead of the fear he expected, they began cheering for Dracula. They surrounded Dracula, thanking him wholeheartedly for saving their village. Dracula was stunned. He had never felt such warmth and appreciation from humans before, and it felt strangely good. For the first time, he realized that helping people brought him more joy than scaring them ever had. From that day on, Dracula never frightened the villagers again. Instead, he became their silent protector, always watching over them from the shadows. Moral lesson. The moral of the story is that true satisfaction comes from helping others rather than causing harm. Dracula realizes that kindness and protecting those in need bring more lasting happiness than scaring or playing tricks on them. While scaring people may be fun in the moment, he learns that the joy of spreading happiness and being considerate is much more rewarding. True enjoyment comes not from causing fear, but from bringing smiles to others' faces. Subscribe and like this video for more wonderful Halloween stories.